right?
Yeah. No, wait. Hmm, I can see you. Yeah, now I can see your screen. Yeah.
Uh, Great.
Yeah, yeah.
So, welcome to the session on enterprise architecture and healthcare systems. This presentation is done by myself, Swaminathan Moorthy, and Mr. Ahmed
Eh,
Mahmood. We're going to look at the research methods. We're going to look at the various frameworks. We're going to look at the advantages of one framework over another. We are going to look at the uh, best indicators for an enterprise architecture. Going to look at the criteria. We're going to look at a conceptual model for TOGAF framework for a particular hospital. We're going to look at the previous researches that have been conducted. We are going to look at the Archimate tool. That is one of the tools that have been used for enterprise architecture framework. We're going to also look at one of the future trends, which is the process mining, which will be used, which is going to be the future in uh, the healthcare industry moving forward. Uh, Enterprise architecture is a tool that is going to connect the business functions and the IT infrastructure together. It enables organizations to make decisions on the approach that they have to take to scale up their to scale up their uh, application architecture, irrespective of whichever industry that the organization focuses on. Whether you're going to look at the banking industry or the healthcare, or you're going to look at insurance sector, any of these sectors that you're going to look at, right? Enterprise architecture uh, is a focus area for those organizations to uh, extend their uh, focus area. Now, one of the sectors that we're going to look at is the healthcare information system, and what the focus area for this particular sector. What we're going to look at is the developing countries such as India and Pakistan. So that is the focus area. Uh, Enterprise architecture enables organizations to focus on few problems that we have listed, and then the value that they can derive in investing on enterprise architecture. The There are two aspects. One is the complexity of the organization. The other one is the value of the investment that they're going to make on enterprise architecture. The complexities that the enterprise architecture focuses on is about the complexity and the constant change that the organization needs to go through, aligning the complete organization towards the same goal. Uh, Focus on the redundant tasks that each team member is doing, and then uh, how can these redundant tasks be automated, and thereby redirecting the resources who are working on those redundant tasks into better what do you call as usage of their uh, time and effort. Uh, Now, what is the value that the organization is going to get is how these ID investments can be converted into different assets, uh, how these assets can produce the impact in their IT infrastructure, how this change is going to impact the organizational performance. These are the complexities that the enterprise architecture addresses, and these are the values that the enterprise architecture provides in terms of the investments that the organization has made towards enterprise architecture. Uh, let's have Ahmed speak about this research method. Ahmed.
Now, hey, Swaminathan. So the research method is a qualitative research. It embraces a comparison where there are analysis on literature related to the work done to propose a better uh, enterprise architecture frameworks for the medical diagnosis. Now, there are many enterprise architectures over there, but in the medical field, what seems to be more suitable from all the literature reviews we have done is TOGAF and Zachman methodologies. These are the two most favorable frameworks for a medical, a healthcare purpose. Now, the Zachman framework has several shortcomings when they were compared to the TOGAF, and this can be seen in the next slide. Um, so, now TOGAF advantages are that it provides a more visual representation. It has it provides verified methods by comprehensive research. It delivers shared vocabulary. It offers knowledge about an organization, and it improves data sharing reliability. The next slide. Hello.
Yes, go ahead. It's on the next slide. Hello.
It's I cannot see the next slide over here.
Okay, we're on the next slide. So the first step in terms of building an enterprise architecture is to have the requirements defined. One of the hospitals, which is Permeda Group Hospital, they have done a one of the steps that they looked into was to enhance their architecture, application architecture, and
Okay.
they wanted to move and they wanted to build an enterprise level architecture for their healthcare IT needs. They did a research in terms of trying to decide on the appropriate framework that the hospital can implement, uh, and that helps them to arrange the information. Uh, so what this particular framework or this particular research was done in the University of Iran for enterprise architecture in healthcare industry. They used a Delphi framework. They used a decision-making framework, which is the Delphi, and they had conducted various interviews with different IT managers. They conducted this research across the business managers. They conducted this research across various users in different hospitals, and then they also worked with various enterprise architecture framework consultants to decide on the uh, framework that they can use towards implementing the enterprise architecture. Uh, so moving ahead, uh, they were each framework was analyzed based on different indicators. What we have here is uh, are the 8 indicators which the research team focused on. The definition and clear whether whether this hospital has a definition and clear understanding of the architecture. How does architecture support the development and maintenance of the current applications that has been implemented in the hospital? Uh, how the entrepreneurs who work on various healthcare applications for the future, how can they integrate their applications with the current once this enterprise architecture has been implemented. What is the business model? What is the system model? What is the transmission, the data transmission between different applications or different devices, right? You have different devices
Yeah.
such as uh, uh, different devices uh, that handle data from various patients. So how is the data transmission happening? And how the research can be performed and various tools that support this mechanism. Ahmed, do you want to proceed?
Yeah. Sure. So, well, after this, we go to the criteria. Now, the basic framework for hospital is building a decision-making hierarchy, group decision-making, calculations, that too with an expert choice of software and examining the rates of adjustments. Now, in conceptual model of TOGAF for the hospitals, when creating a model, a long-term plan is required to keep. It's supposed to be kept in mind. Then TOGAF also defines a hospital as a set. It defines it as a set of units that have a common aim a common goal and creates a logical structure classifying and organizing complicated information. Therefore, it's simplifying everything easily. Now, some layers of TOGAF, as mentioned, there's a business and architectural layer that is considered the highest level of an architect enterprise, and the second layer is a layer of application of information system that involves job processes, information systems, application. The third layer is the information system. It is responsible for describing information headlines as well as the logical models and physical models. Lastly, the technological infrastructure of architectural layer. It is the technical reference or the technical standard models which should be considered in an enterprise. This is an image of the enterprise architectural framework from the study of Iranian University of Hospital Organization. And in this, you can clearly see the information systems and data analysis entered. So the next slide is the previous research conducted. Now, in this, usually it is the previous learnings, the key learnings that we have gained. And in the several research, like building an enterprise architecture, explains on focusing on building a corporate architecture that explains 6 phases of the EA design. Then there's hospital enterprise, that is the study of Iranian University, shows that TOGAF is more suitable for healthcare, and the 4 phases of TOGAF, which we have mentioned, were taken into the consideration. The health refill enterprise articles, from this study we realized that business processes and IT system in a company and how they align. In this case, it's closely related to research of integrating IT systems that will be designed in the hospital and group. So the next page, uh, there's healthcare monitoring through enterprise architecture, and also the Archimate tool. It shows the Archimate tool is the best for developing enterprise architectures. Now, several of these research shows us that uh, TOGAF and the tool Archimate seems the best possible option for what do you call developing and processing EA enterprise for the healthcare. So the Archimate tool is suitable because of its simplicity, expressive power. Archimate defines all the domains properly, and which enables the complexity of architectural domain analysis. Now, further to this, the healthcare is also decomposed into 3 layers. So the Archimate tool, as you can see, has healthcare modeling for enterprise, and it has 3 layers. That is the business, application, and technology layer. Okay, so Swaminathan, over to you.
Sure. So one of the trends that we foresee for in the upcoming years in enterprise architecture is the process mining technique. And what happens here is it enables organizations to research or to analyze the trend of data that comes in, the patient data that comes in, how the data flows between different systems, uh, on in what uh, flow or what areas that the patient is what do you call as unable to move forward or is stuck at certain scenarios, and uh, it helps organizations or it helps companies to proceed further and analyze and help help them to uh, take necessary actions wherever required. There are different process mining techniques that are available: alpha algorithm, heuristic miner, generic mining, and fuzzy miner. Each process mining technique helps organizations to identify the uh, events that happen in an application, and then take the necessary uh, steps at each level. There could be some of these mechanisms help in terms of uh, an iterative manner or a or a phased manner. So the generic mining technique can use either the alpha algorithm or heuristic miner to identify certain objects, and then the generic mining can move further. So process mining helps. This is the specific flow that we are going to look at in terms of you have an existing healthcare application, or you don't have a healthcare application, but you need to understand the trend, understand the various events uh, that happen within the application, like, and then understand the patient flow, and then helps you to uh, map each of this uh, event into your application, and then plan accordingly. So some of these scenarios, or some of the application frameworks that we've seen here, is you understand the existing application, and then you apply your process mining techniques. You can use any of these four process mining techniques, understand the events that happen, and then you can map, or you can change your existing application in terms of whether it is the administrative process, or your billing process, or the way you approach the patients in terms of their treatments. So the application, or the enterprise architecture, can really help in this scenario. So what we are speaking about here, the process mining, is about the extension of, I mean, what happens after the enterprise architecture has been implemented in your organization, right? So you take the TOGAF framework, and then you implement, or you change your enterprise architecture. But again, how am I going to use it after it has been implemented? So this is one of the usage of enterprise architecture after it has been implemented. So with this, we conclude our presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for your time, and we will
Just one,
look forward for more videos. Thank you.
definitely. Thank you so much.